Hey, 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 today we are converting a fruit salad recipe to graphic format from traditional. Now, it's pretty simple. If you understand the whole graphic recipe concept, some of you are clueless, don't understand it at all, so watch the video. But if you do have some idea of how it works, go ahead and try and convert it on your own before you watch the video. Then watch the short video that we're that I'm playing right this video right here. Watch it and then check to see that you've done it correctly. When you're done, it should look exactly like mine in the video. But please check it first. I guess if you weren't going to check it, you wouldn't be here. So anyway, quick story about the recipe. When I was actually all my life, Um, my parents were married until I was about 18, and then they got a divorce. But anyway, my father was a very finicky eater, and he didn't eat much uh, of different kinds of foods at all. He wouldn't eat poultry or seafood. He would eat beef and pork and potatoes and very few vegetables. And so he was a very finicky eater. There weren't a lot of fruit that he would eat. So my mom created this recipe of out of things that he liked, and so it's called the Aaron L. McCarty. That's my father fruit salad, and it doesn't have a lot of different uh, fruits in it, but these are things that he liked, and some people like this recipe. So it became a popular recipe in some circles. But anyway, that's the story of it. So let's go ahead and make it into a graphic format. Um, Now, like I say, I'd like you to try it on your own before you watch the video, or at least uh, try part of the way before you watch the video. And as always, if you don't understand something, pause it and replay it. That's the wonderful thing about these videos I'm doing, is that you can do it at your own speed. So the first thing that I would do is I would split my screen in two. So there's the original. Did you see what I did there? I just clicked on this icon right there to make my screen smaller. If it's not any smaller, you can, maybe it did this. Maybe you went from here to here. Just click on it and drag it over so it takes up about half of your screen. Then right here's a new tab. I'm going to click it and drag it over. I'm going to try. Come on. Drag it over here. Let's see. You don't want to see my eBay. Where did my... Oh, somehow I lost my PDF. Okay, there it is. So you want to open up a Google document. So click on the waffle or the Rubik's Cube. Click on Docs. I'm going to move myself out of the way here. We're going to open a new doc. Okay. First thing you want to do is count how many lines you're going to need and how many columns, how many rows and columns, excuse me. You're going to need a row for the title. There's no pre-step. So one, and each ingredient, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. And you're going to need columns, 1 for the ingredients, 2, 3, 4. So what did I say? 7 by 4. So in your document, let's title it first. Let's title it Fruit Salad Recipe Conversion to Graphic. Oops, graphic. Okay, so we're going to insert a table. And we are going to make it 7 rows by 4 columns. Now, if you don't get the numbers right on this right here, it's okay. You can always add or delete rows and columns. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's kind of nice to start with exactly what you need, but don't freak out if it's not exactly perfect, because it's easy to change. All right, top row, let's make a title. So we're going to highlight our top row and merge those together. So we're going to click up here on Format, Table, Merge Cells. Boom. Go ahead and type in our title, Aaronl. His name was Aaron Leroy McCarty, but everyone called him Roy. And my name is Aaron Kirk McCarty, and my friends call me Kirk. And it's very difficult going by your middle name. So I would, if I had kids, I wouldn't do that to them. And the kids I have are stepsons. I have one stepson remaining and one has passed away. So, all right, so there's my title. I want to center that. And we lost some of our tools when we put our screen in half. So if we go ahead and make this full size for a second, right here, we can center our text. So the one on the left is left justify, centered, right justified, and this is some other weird justification. It's for like a newspaper column. So anyway, we're going to center it right there. And there's our title. Let's go back to half screen. Each of our ingredients goes in its own box. You must always have one ingredient per box, and every ingredient needs its own box. So you don't want applesauce and pineapple tidbits in the same box. So we have 1 cup apple salsa, 1 cup pineapple. And you guys, of course, can skip past this part if it helps any. You don't need to watch me type in every word. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. 1 1/2. Oops. Backspace. 1 1/2 cup mini marshmallows. 2. Now we see a T there. Many people are confused about what that T is. Is it teaspoon or tablespoon? Well, since a tablespoon is bigger than a teaspoon, a capital T is tablespoon. So you can say T, or you can say TBS or TBSP. 2 tablespoons of chopped walnuts and 2 tablespoons. Be consistent though. Don't use TBS here and then T here. So if one's going to be T, they should both be T. But just remember, apparently I spelled it wrong. There we go, TBSP. If one is T, then the other should be capital T as well. If one is TBSP, the other should be as well. ARIS, ARAS, THINO, maraschino cherries. Now, I somehow put in an extra row. Let's see, we got applesauce, pineapple, mini marshmallows. Oh, I left off something. So let's copy this. Control C copies it. There we go. I did leave off something. 2 bananas. But at the last minute. Okay, so now we have our ingredients. Sometimes I like to have a dark line right here. Let's see if I can do that. To separate my ingredients from my procedure. A lot of people still aren't understanding the graphic recipe idea. You don't have to do this, but I'm just trying to clarify that everything on the left is ingredients, everything on the right is procedure. I've had people as recently as December turn in ingredients here and procedures underneath it. So this dark line here is going to separate our ingredients from our procedure. Again, you don't have to do it, but it makes it look a little bit nicer. All right. So our first direction is chop walnuts. So right here, we're going to say chop. You do not need to put the word walnuts there because this ingredient or this direction goes with this uh, item. So actually, I'm going to take chopped out of there. A lot of times in recipes, um, the first procedure, like it says right here, chopped walnuts, um, will just be not really as part of a procedure, but as more of an ingredient. So this right here, if you have chopped walnuts, you obviously don't need to chop the walnuts, but I'm just trying to simplify it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop our walnuts, and we're going to slice our bananas. And why do we slice our bananas at the very last second? Because they turn brown. The applesauce helps keep them from browning, but if you slice them too soon, they start to brown before they hit the applesauce. All right, so this direction, we don't have the word bananas in here because this goes with this. All right, so we chop our walnuts, we slice our bananas, mix all ingredients together and serve. Look, all ingredients. Format, table, merge cells, mix together, serve. Do not use the word all ingredients there because this box goes next to all the ingredients and there's no need to specify all ingredients. One of the reasons we're doing a graphic recipe is to cut out some of the words and make it more visual and less wordy. So we have an extra column here. So I'm just going to merge all of this together. Get this guy out of the way. Format, table, merge cells, boom. I'm going to slide this line over. This is all just stuff to make it look better. You don't have to do any of this. Okay, I'm going to put a period there. This part right here is optional. You can merge these three together. But I'm not going to mark it wrong if there's still lines there. So there you go. There's your recipe. Here's our ingredients. A-L-L. I have an extra L. Here's your ingredients. Here's your steps. We're going to slice our bananas at the very last second. We're going to chop our walnuts. And we're going to mix everything together and serve. And there is your graphic recipe. It's really quite simple once you understand it. Just remember two things that people often forget. The direction goes directly next to the ingredient that it involves. So if we're saying slice, the bananas are right there. It's kind of like a structured way of pointing. Instead of saying slice bananas, we have an arrow that's pointing to the bananas, but it's not really an arrow, it's more structured boxes. And instead of saying chop, arrow pointing to the walnuts, we have a box next to the walnuts. And since we have the box next to it, we don't write the word walnuts again. That's redundant. So there's your graphic recipe.